Welcome to the Stuttering Sports Show. Today is March 27th, Monday, of course. Not a lot of NFL news to go over, and I did not pay attention to basketball over the weekend. So today is going to be an NHL-Centric show centered around the weekend that was, because it was a pretty damn good one. A few teams played back-to-backs. A few of those teams went 2-0 over the weekend, as the Eastern Conference wild card race gets shaken up, and the Western Conference is kind of just the same. That is the summary, but without further ado, let's get right into it. With the first team to talk about, the team that had the biggest weekend by far, in my opinion, is the Boston Bruins, as they stay hot, tying actually the franchise record in wins at 57, a record set in 1970. David Pastrnak He actually broke the 50-goal mark over the weekend, scoring twice over Carolina. But the wins, a 2-1 victory on Saturday over Tampa and a 4-3 shootout win over Carolina on Sunday. Both massive wins for them. Tampa currently third in the Atlantic, Carolina first in the Metropolitan. Bruins are on their fourth seventh-game winning streak this season, as they're looking to break the NHL record for wins and points. They did the 4-3 win over Carolina without Brad Marchand, Patrice Bergeron, and Hampus Lindholm. As Boston looks unstoppable, mainly because, not just because their uncanny ability to score, of course, but their goaltending duo is out of their minds right now. Swayman made unbelievable saves at the end of the Carolina game. Obviously, Ullmark's going to win the Vezina, the trophy for the best goaltender. Boston's just on a heater right now, and they're not going to be stopped going into the playoffs. Whoever they play, we will find out. Looking further in the Atlantic, because Boston is obviously sitting comfortably at number one, we look at the second place race between Toronto and Tampa. Toronto is currently at 97 points with 73 games played. Tampa is at 90 points with 72 games played. Tampa currently on a 4-game losing streak, obviously the most recent being the 2-1 loss to Boston. Tampa right now is having trouble scoring. That is obviously the big one. They have failed to score more than 2 goals during this 4-game losing streak, as Toronto split the weekend 1-1 with a big weekend from Austin Matthews. The man himself, the Hart Trophy winner last year, had 20 shots on the weekend, 15 shots in their loss to Carolina, 5 in last night's win over Nashville, as he had 2 goals and 2 assists himself. John Tavares had a big night last night, knocking in 2 goals. But a big key to Toronto's future, I think, is kind of being unfolded right now. A massive knock with Toronto over these last few years, and a lot last season in their playoff series versus Tampa, was their goaltending situation. And going into last offseason, that was a big subject. It was a massive subject, and they ended up with Ilya Samsonov and Matt Murray as their new 1A, 1B. Samsonov has clearly outplayed Matt Murray, but is he really going to be your guy throughout an entire 7-game series? He kind of has to be this. He kind of has to be this season, but they have an up-and-coming goalie, 24-year-old Joseph Woll, who's set in the AHL playing out of his mind. He's been coming up over these last few months, playing 4 games for Toronto, 3-1 record during that stretch with a .934 save percentage, giving up 2 goals versus Nashville last night. Toronto, though, is going to have the home ice advantage over Tampa, and hopefully a first-round series that they will actually win. I'm a Toronto fan. Hopefully we'll actually win this one with Austin Matthews kind of getting hot right now. Tavares is still having big games, but Matthews is getting hot at the right time. Hopefully he keeps it up. Moving forward, the wild card race heated up over the weekend in 2 games specifically. The first being the Rangers versus the Panthers on Saturday night, where the Panthers lost 4-3, making their losing streak reach 3 games. And during this 3-game losing streak, they've given up 16 goals. They're still 5-3-2 over the last 10 because of their incredible 7-game point streak that got them in this position to compete for the wild card spot. But during that 7-game point streak, they only gave up 18 goals. Bob Vrowski, however you pronounce his last name, he really needs to step it up because he is their main goalie. If the Panthers want to make the playoffs and especially compete with Boston, which, let's face it, they probably won't, but if they do, it lies on Senator Bob's back right now. It lies on his back, and he needs to get it together because it's not looking good as they're currently 3 games out from the second wild card spot, as the Panthers are at 79 points, Pittsburgh is at 82 points. Rangers are looking very comfortable in the Metropolitan right now, especially after a 4-3 win. Patrick Kane led the team in Corsi for percentage, I believe 56-something%, and he also knocked in his 4th goal as a Ranger in 12 games. Moving forward, we got the East wild card. Oh, I already said that. Another very impactful game for the wild card race was the Penguins Capitals. Obviously, Sidney Crosby versus Alex Ovechkin. This was the ABC 8 o'clock primetime game, and boy was it boring at first. It was very boring, and it looked like it was going to continue to be boring, with the Penguins taking a commanding 3-0 lead early in the third period. But the Capitals came back. And one of those goals, obviously, as they tied it 3-3, was Ovechkin's famous spot, power play spot, just left ice, sitting there. Moment the faceoff happened, pass it to him, knocks it in. That's Alex Ovechkin as he tries to catch Wayne Gretzky. But then that was the second goal of the comeback. I don't remember who the third one was, but probably 30 seconds to a minute after the third goal, Evgeny, I just fucked up that name, Malkin, off of a bad turnover by Washington, puts the game away in a one-on-one shot with the goalie Darcy Kemper. He put the game away, getting a 4-3 win, as the Penguins, as previously stated, are at 82 points in that second wild card spot, and Washington, sitting at 76 points, is tied with the Buffalo Sabres, kind of on the outside looking in. I think if there's a team that catches up to Pittsburgh, it's going to be the Panthers. I mean, the Sabres, Senators, and Capitals need to get hot, and they need to get hot now if they want to catch the Penguins. And even potentially the Islanders, as they had a 2-0 loss to Buffalo over the weekend as well. I believe New York is sitting at 83 points. Eastern Conference notes over the weekend. Pretty funnily, the Montreal Canadiens scored a season high of 8 goals versus the Columbus Blue Jackets. That was a big Connor Bedard game for the. That was a big draft lottery game for the Blue Jackets, as you know. Obviously the players haven't given up because they want to win, but I think management was pretty fucking happy with that one. And some more in the Eastern Conference. Carter Hart, goalie for the winning Philadelphia Flyers, has a .14 save percentage this month as he clocked in his second shutout of the season over Detroit on Saturday. He's having the best month of the season so far. Actually, he may have had a better one in October, but he's clocking in a .914. Playing really well right now. The Flyers are picking up wins. I guess it means something for them, makes the team feel better. Moving on to the Western Conference, though. 2 more teams played back-to-back on the weekend, and those 2 teams won both games of the back-to-back. The first team being the Los Angeles Kings, as they continue to be hot. They had a 4-1 victory over the Winnipeg Jets on Saturday and a 7-6 win over the Blues late Sunday night, as they are 10-0-2 in their last 12. The biggest performer during this weekend of games is Victor Arvidsson. Definitely butchered that name, but he has 4 goals. He had 4 goals and 1 assist over the weekend, with 2 goals in each games. As the Kings are hot right now, the Pacific Division is hot right now. You got Edmonton doing their thing. You got the you have the Vegas Golden Knights doing their thing right now, as Vegas is first in the Pacific, LA second, Edmonton is third. Edmonton and Vegas actually play on Tuesday night. I'm very excited for that game. That's going to be a big one for this race overall and Connor McDavid's potential 65-plus goal season. But back to the LA Kings, they're hot right now. 10-0-2. They kind of needed to be to keep this second spot in the Pacific and potentially take over first in not only the Pacific but the entire Western Conference. If they continue to do what they're doing, that is massive. Moving forward to the second team to win back-to-back over the weekend. And for some reason are winning games right now. The Vancouver Canucks are playing out of their minds. 10-0-2 in their last 12 with 3-1 with a 3-1 win on Saturday and a 4-2 win on Sunday. Vancouver for some reason just turned it on. I remember they made a very weird deal during the trade deadline where they traded, I believe, their first round pick. After that, they're just like, oh shit, we gotta start winning games. But seriously though, a big contributor to this has been goalie Thatcher Demko, who's posting a .925 save percentage over this month, and JT Miller has clocked in 18 points in the 12 games. In the 12-game point streak, actually. In the 12-game point streak, JT Miller and Thatcher Demko are both playing great. The Canucks just continue to win. They're not going to make the playoffs, but if they do, that'd be hilarious. Western Conference notes, 21-year-old star for the Devils, Jack Hughes, clocked in his 40th goal over the weekend in a 5-something win over, I believe, Ottawa. I believe that was the game he got that goal. And talking about the Pacific Division some more because it is great. The Seattle Kraken on Saturday in their 7-2 win over Nashville clocked in a 4-goal third period to get the win. Kraken looking to get hot at the right time. That's going to do it for me today. If you enjoyed, do whatever the algorithm says. Like, subscribe, yada, yada. And that's going to do it for me today. Hopefully going to have another one of these on Wednesday because tonight and tomorrow's hockey slates are pretty damn good, and I'm excited to do it. There's hopefully some football news, as I don't really care to talk about the NBA.